Yeah, for someone who's thinking about these choices, to be able to listen to this and get right from the source, I think that's huge.
But something about D2
it's interesting.
It is
different.
Interesting. Yeah. It is interesting.
It's like the Wild West, to be honest with you.
You know, let's start talking about the kids who aren't ever talked about.
Exactly. Welcome to Jersey Match. This episode is sponsored by Beato Baits, 5-inch stick baits designed by a wrestler, built to win. With a range of color options and a perfect sink rate, these things will get bites when nothing else will. And don't miss the mystery color, made from leftover plastic each week, melted down and molded into one-of-a-kind baits. No two are the same, but they all catch. Perfected for anglers who just want to catch more fish. So, if you're grinding on the mat, take that same energy to the water. Beato Baits, B-E-A-T-O. Tough to beat, easy to fish. Check for the link in the description of this episode, or you can find them on it. Welcome to another episode of New Jersey Mat Chat. Today we have a special episode. I'm sure everyone out there whose kid is possibly going to wrestle college has heard about D1 schools and D3 schools, but today we have two colleges from the only D2 program in New Jersey, Vinny and Dale Fava. Doug, tell us about these.
Yeah,
coaches.
Dale and Vinny Fava, head coach and assistant coach at Felician University, and that's in Rutherford. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Rutherford, New Jersey. The only Division II wrestling program in this state, believe it or not.
That's unbelievable.
Yes, yeah. It's kind of crazy if you really think about it. Tons and tons to talk about today. I'm excited because, like most high school kids, I think we're all kind of in the dark about D2.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about D3.
Yeah.
There's a lot of D3 programs in New Jersey and the tri-state area. Only one in New Jersey. We're going to touch into what separates the two and, why recruits should maybe come to Felician. So we're going to find out. First of all, Dale, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate being here.
Let's get into it. So Dale, we'll start with you. You're the big dog there. You're the head coach. So give us a little quick background. Where you grew up, where you went to high school, college.
So I grew up in Elmwood Park, New Jersey. I went to Don Bosco Prep. I actually played football and wrestling. When they were definitely a powerhouse back then.
Yeah.
We were
it's a good school.
I think sixth in the country in football, and then obviously wrestled too as well. I actually went to Bosco because Bergen was the powerhouse back then, and I wanted to beat Bergen. So
okay.
I like it.
We ended up doing it our senior year, but that's really, I like being the underdog, taking out the big dogs. And that's the same thing with, Division II and Felician, right? There was no Division II school in New Jersey, and I'm really looking to, grow the sport on both, actually the men and women's side, because we brought in both women and men's wrestling, which is great. And now we have about 65 kids in the program overall.
Wow.
From about 30 last year to 60, so we doubled our number, and we're looking to really, grow the sport and grow Division II wrestling too as well. Obviously before I wrestled Division I at Lock Haven, and then went to Delaware Valley Division III. So I was a little bit in the outside for Division II too, and now I learned a little bit. It's a little bit of hybrid of both, right? We offer athletic scholarships too as well. And the competition is, just at that college level, right? A lot of really good guys that are hidden that people don't even know at that top of that podium. I think it's definitely a hidden gem. Like you said, we're the only Division II team in New Jersey, and we're looking to really grow it. And we're in a highly populated area of very good wrestlers. Kids that are in blood rounds that end up don't wrestling in college. Kids that could make a run at a national championship, and just if they have the right choice and the right school that they're going to go to. So we're really looking.
We're gonna touch in. We're gonna dive into all of that. Believe me, Vinny. How about you?
Yeah, so I started wrestling when I was 6. So my dad got me in the sport. Dale started a little bit later at 9. So we kind of started at the same time because he's 3 years older than me. Competed all the way up till college. Joined Dale at Bosco for 2 years before transferring back to Elmwood Park. And Dale didn't want to bring it up, but the main reason we went to Bosco was to take out Bergen Catholic, right? I think Don Bosco Prep in the 90s and early 2000s wasn't a very good program, right? They struggled for a long time, and Dale was the program starter. So again, here at Felician University, he's the program starter. He's the one that's leading the way, and he has experience at the high school level, right? Taking a program that wasn't on the map, didn't really do much, and by his senior year, when I was a freshman, we beat Bergen Catholic for the state sectional finals, which was the first, and I think the only one other time it's happened since then. So obviously pumped for that. And then in college, I wrestled at Ryder for 3 years, and then Dale was coaching at Delaware Valley. So I transferred over there, Division III, was a 2-time All-American national finalist there, in high school was a 3-time state place winner.
Okay. So Dale, you have previous college coaching experience.
Yeah, I actually coached Vinny in the national finals, which was probably one of the best experiences in my whole life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Just that ride to have him. He was that rider for 3 years, then he came to Del Val, All-American twice, and then to make a run and coach your brother in national finals. Obviously, to have that chance is nothing like it.
No, nothing at all.
Awesome, unbelievable.
Now,
We're back now.
Your coaching experience is.
It's limited. So I coached Bosco a little bit with Chris Potato years ago. And then with my work schedule, I kind of took a few years off. It was hard with high school, right? They got out of school a little bit earlier. I think college is a little bit easier if you have 6 a.m. practices or later at night practices to get back in it. So when Dale took it over last year, this year joining the coaching staff, I mean, it's been awesome, right? And again, limited coaching experience, but wrestling since 6 years old. And I feel like as long as you've wrestled your whole life and done the right things and been around the sport, it translates right into coaching.
Well, I'm sorry. Were you a multi-sport athlete also?
I played football, not at Bosco. When I transferred back to Home Park, I played football for my last 2 years.
Okay. And how did you guys get into did you know you wanted to be coaches from when you were younger is what I'm asking? Like, was that kind of always on the plate, or is that something you kind of fell into afterwards?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a crazy story. Your career ends, right? And you go from an athlete your whole life into the business world, and nobody tells you, nobody really prepares you for that transition, right? You don't have people coming up to you, hey, good job, that want you to do well. So once I got into the business world, I'm like, I was working in business for like a year, and I'm like, I have to get back. Whether it's on the mat, whether it's coaching football, I have too much to give, and too many people gave me the opportunity to become what I became in the work field from sports and from wrestling. And I'm like, I could do the same thing for all these young men across the board, and I really want to just get back and give back to the sport. We do it, at Felician, we don't do it for the money. Like a lot of big dogs are doing it for the money, right? It's a business. We do it because we want to mentor and guide young men, not just in wrestling, to be successful after wrestling, right? If they're a national champ and then they end up going to jail, we didn't do our job, right? We want to make good people in this world, and we want to make successful people that have opportunities.
So before we get into the startup of Felician Wrestling, what made Felician Wrestling call Dale Fava to become their first wrestling coach?
That's a great question.
Yeah, so I always have big creative ideas. A lot of people look at me most of the time and they're like, you're absolutely crazy. They're like, this is never going to work. And I'll start with a story where I was the athletic director of a small school, Immaculate Conception in Lodi, and girls wrestling just started to take off. And I'm like, listen, we got to get on this bandwagon right now. Even with the Bosco thing, I like to start from scratch and build programs, right? A lot of programs are already established. So I started a girls team. We ended up being one of the best teams in the county. And then from there, we actually ended up getting a wrestling room, which was over in, this is going to sound crazy, it was in the Sisters Cafeteria. So Felicians, we have 73 sisters that live on campus. And they always backed me and backed the sport.
You mean like nuns?
Yeah,
nuns,
nuns.
Yeah, the sisters, the nuns.
I was a big family. I was making sure.
You're right.
All right, just making sure.
So Sister Alex, who's actually from Philly, she's still at Felician, she was like, I'm like, I need a space to start this program. And she gave me a little space. It was their old cafeteria, and we started from there. And then I started getting into, obviously that campus is on Felician campus. So I'm like, why doesn't Felician have Division II wrestling? I'm like, this is something I got to get in the AD's ear. I go, we are in the hotbed of wrestling in New Jersey.
You think?
We're in North Jersey. We're 5 minutes from Giant Stadium. You have a bunch of kids that don't even go and wrestle in college that are great. So
it's Jet Stadium. Go.
the Jets. Well, I mean, at this point, it really might be Jet Stadium, I'd say. And I talked to the AD. I was pitching it to him for a couple years, and Andrew, who's the AD of Felician, he backed me. He's like, I think, this is a go. I think we could start a men's and women's program. And it just took years to develop and build that relationship. Wow. And then from there, I'm like, obviously, I'm going to put in for it. And we just started building the dynasty from, the ground up, basically. I mean, last year was probably one of the hardest years of coaching in my life, especially when you have 14 freshmen, on the team.
Yeah.
And nobody has college experience besides you and your staff.
Now, last year, you didn't do any duels, am I correct? It was just
we did duels.
You did duels? Okay.
We did duels, and then we did duels mostly the second half. We did a lot of opens in the beginning.
Okay.
But you have to hit a certain amount of competitions that people don't know. So you have to hit 6 competitions with 7 competitors. So we were right on that line of if one guy goes down, we're not going to be able to qualify for regionals. So I had to make sure everybody's healthy, everybody's at their peak, and make sure nobody gets injured. Because one guy got hurt last year, we wouldn't have qualified to make the regional tournament because of the events.
Wow.
So it was definitely a tricky year.
If you're the first program, then who do you guys speak to learn the ropes for Division II?
I'm going to be honest. It's been figuring it out along the way. There's not a lot of guidance. People don't give you a handbook for this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
You kind of just go with it.
How does the school, we'll use Felician, because we're talking, where you guys are from Felician. So how does the program start from, they have no wrestling program, and then they say, okay, yes, we're going to start a wrestling program. But where does the funding come from? The school? Do you have to do fundraisers to initially start a program? How does that work?
So it's a little bit of both. Obviously we're doing a lot of funding too, bringing a lot of money. The women's coach, Fred Sante, too, as well. We work hand in hand. So the men's and women program, even on our funding, we split our funding. We start a Golden Falcon Wrestling Club where we're bringing in some of the funding to help offset the school because it's not a crazy expense to start wrestling, but there is some overhead to it with the mats being large purchases, obviously the room, and you want to make sure you do things right, especially at the Division II level. So a lot of the funding really came from the school, really backed us, and they funded a lot of it. And now on this back end, we're bringing up a lot of the fundraising to just get it up to par where we want it to be a state-of-the-art program. So it's really, the school gave us the go. They started funding us right away. The first year was a recruiting year, and now we're just rolling into the fundraising and getting everything else that we need, right? I mean, the main thing is having wrestling mats, right? Once I have the wrestling mats and I got the kids, the funding we'll figure out, and we'll get it, and we'll get the donors. But from golf outings to hopefully, we were just talking about running a beefsteak in the fall. Like, it's constant. Not only are we coaching wrestling, we're figuring out how to bring in money, right? You have programs like with Cleveland State that just got cut.
Yeah.
Right? And these are big programs that have tons of money.
Yeah.
We don't have that right now. We don't have donors. We have nothing. So we're starting from scratch. So the school really did help us, lay out a lot of the money and the foundation to start the program up.
Well, for people who are curious, and I'm one of them, for example, I know we'll just use the College of New Jersey. Their enrollment is, I think, 4 or 5 times yours.
Yeah.
Why are they D3 and why is a small school like Felician D2? What determines that?
So, it's just like almost like the legacy of the school already. I think Felician always been in the Division II conference. So as long as you claim it and you have the facilities to support it, you could be Division I or Division II or Division III. So even for us to jump to Division I, where I think the AD eventually wants to go to, you need a certain amount of capacity in your facilities that you have to host. So you have to have those or you can't be a Division I program.
So enrollment has nothing to do with it?
Has nothing to do with
Funding
it.
has nothing to do with it?
Nothing to do with it.
Interesting.
It wouldn't be the same thing like in high school where you have the groupings by the population of the school, right?
Right.
This is completely different. The school can determine what division they want to go to if they have the facilities to support it.
And as a novice, for Division III, they can't do scholarships. If Division II can, that's where it separates? Okay,
yes.
All right.
So Division III, they can't technically do scholarships, so it's all grant money.
Right.
Ours, technically, we could offer athletic scholarships. Now, the school, obviously, with our program, we're not a fully funded program.
Right.
So we're very limited,
Right.
But obviously we're trying to become a fully funded, and that just comes with time and experience and definitely numbers, right?
Yeah.
The bigger the team gets, the more stuff. The more donors you get, the more stuff you're going to get, right? The more funding and kids that you can bring in is going to help grow your program. So you're more bound to get more of the things that you need that way.
Well, let's say for example, you're recruiting me. I'm a teenager and you're recruiting me, and I'm like, well, coach, it's not that I don't like your program or I don't like you or anything, but I'm trying to go to school for as cheap as possible. I think that's anyone's goal, right? So when you're limited on scholarships, how do you as a coach try to, offset the cost of a potential recruit? I mean, are there ways for you to get grant money? Because you don't have to pay grants back, but financial aid, and student loans, it gets tricky. So how do you navigate around that?
It's really working with a lot of the Felician, the admissions, the enrollment. They do a very good job. I'm not going to lie. Their packages and even the Felician sisters' view on helping just the public and people that can't afford school, their packages have been unbelievable to an extent where I don't even have to offer sometimes in most cases athletic money because they're making sure to take care of their students and making sure that they're going to come out of school debt-free. Okay. And even with packages, that's one thing, like as a coach, and this may sound crazy, we are straight up with our recruits. If we don't think the deal or the money or the financial aid is in the right spot, we'll tell them, hey, listen, if you can find a better deal, look somewhere else. We don't want to put them in debt, right? Our goal is to make sure that they're successful, have opportunities in the future, and to make sure that they come out of school debt-free. Because I hate to say it, 18-year-olds do not know what they're signing.
No.
Right.
Like, we didn't even know what we're signing. Everything's, right? Coaches can get you to sign something, but they don't really know what they're signing. So our big sell is that we're going to educate you on this. Our goal is not to only make you an All-American and national champ, but to make sure that when you're out of college, you're debt-free. And that's really one of our sell. Obviously, we're in a great area, North Jersey, where there's plenty of businesses, plenty of things to do, where a lot of colleges are in the middle of nowhere. Actually, most colleges are in the middle of nowhere or in bad areas that are outside the college.
Right.
Our area is one of the safest areas in New Jersey, by Jet Stadium.
Yeah, right by Jet Stadium. You got it.
What are your academic requirements? Is admissions a headache for you guys, or is it pretty easy to get kids who are fringe academically to get them admitted?
So they work with our students. So we have kids that come in that even because I do believe in second chances, right? You may be in a high school, right? Of
course.
Where you may have not did the best things in high school. All right. As a coach, we try to turn that around. So our admissions team, we even have programs where if they're ineligible coming in, that they work with them and they're getting tutored in order to make sure they get in and make sure that they're eligible the next year. So we do have a lot of leeway with that. We have a program, I think it's called I'm pretty sure it's called the Golden Falcon program that they just started a year ago, 2 years ago, for kids that are that would be technically ineligible, that they can get into the school, basically be on probation and get their grades up in order to compete and become eligible. So my admissions team has done a great job at Felician, really working with us and making sure that the kids that we're bringing in, that they have the right resources too and the help, right? You can't bring a kid that isn't eligible, right, and not have tutors for them to make sure that they're going to go down the right path. So we really have a good, basically a good backing with our administration and our admissions and our HR, from talking to literally everyone. We're in constant communication, right? We're just figuring out right now the ways to work with each other, because we've been doing it for the last 2 or 3 years, just figuring out the ways and the best ways to do things. But our school's very good with that, with working with kids that are even, that be on the cusp of getting in or may not get in, because, like I said, we're a big, Catholic school, and the sisters believe in second chances. So we're going to believe those kids getting a second chance coming here and becoming eligible, right? If you come in for a year and you're going to sit and get your grades up, then why wouldn't you be able to compete your second year or get that second opportunity, right? People mess up in life, right? We see it all the time. But people deserve second chances and third chances. So our school is very open to taking kids that are on the cusp of, that GPA eligibility list.
What's been the biggest hurdle for growing the program since you got there?
The biggest hurdle, I would say, initially, it was coaches.
Okay.
Coaches.
Are you two the only members of the staff?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
So, last year, me and Coach BJ Young.
Yep. Jackson kid.
Kid.
Yeah.
Great guy, was one of my assistant coaches too as well. We started the program. When you start a program with 2 coaches and you're trying to get other coaches on staff, that's the hard part, right? You got,
I'm sure.
You got 2 coaches. You're running, and you're not just coaching wrestling, especially me. I'm very limited at the coaching wrestling part. I'm doing the admissions. I'm doing the the recruiting,
fundraising,
the enrollment.
everything. You're doing everything.
God bless you, Coach.
Even walking them through, I hate to say it, the FAFSA, right? The FAFSA is hard, and that changes from year to year. So you're really guiding these kids and their parents from day one, and you're sticking through the whole process with them. And that process is very, very tedious process. That's the hard part. Now, I think we're, I brought my brother on. Thank God we got him. It took a while, to actually recruit my brother. I always wanted him on staff. It took him 10 years to start coaching with me.
Yeah.
But he's a great resource too as well. And I have about 3 or 4 or 5 volunteer coaches that just donate their time, don't get paid, that are there, that are assistant coaches on staff that love the sport and do it literally just to mentor kids and make sure that they're going down the right direction.
Now Vinny you were an All-American, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever look at a D2 school when you were going to school at that time?
Honestly, no, I don't even think I was recruited. It was out of high school. It was more D1 for me. I didn't even think there was no D2 spots in the area, right?
Okay.
I didn't really know much about Division II, but I knew D1 and D3. But I feel like now more and more, obviously, we're involved in it. But you hear more about D2, and it's always D2, D3, JUCO, and NAIA. Like, who's the best out of all 4? And I think every weight's a little bit different, but no, honestly, when I was in college, I didn't know much about Division II, to be honest.
Would the 17-year-old Vinny Fava like the campus of Felician if he toured it today?
100%. I mean, it's
Okay.
beautiful. The Rutherford campus is awesome. It's right off Park Ave, which is just a huge street of good restaurants, good places to be. Even security on campus is nothing crazy because it's in such a good area, right? I think, knowing what I know now versus back then, right? Like, we have a young coaching staff, guys that still wrestle with you. And we have full-time jobs outside of this, so that's very important, right? Like, a lot of D1 coaches in smaller schools or even D3, if they're a full-time coach, like, that's how they're paying their mortgage,
Yes.
paying their family. So that's a different level of stress where, like, we're not in this for financial gain, right? Like, I'm doing this because I want our guys to be put in the best possible situation to achieve their goals on the mat and off the mat, right? So, I mean, it's been awesome so far joining it and just being part of the team and the guys we have. Like, I think the future's bright at Felician. Like, if you're contemplating D1 versus D2, D3, like, I always advise, like, when we're talking to kids is you got to do what's best for you, right? Don't go D1 just doing it for the title to, like, oh, like, I'm a D1 commit, but then you're going to sit the bench for 3-4 years because, look, D1, it's tough to go out and be an All-American. You want as many cracks at it as possible.
While we're on this topic, Vinny, I'll ask you first, and then I'll ask Dale. From a wrestling perspective, not academics, not campus, not
Right.
social life, wrestling perspective, in your opinion, what is the biggest difference between D1 and D2?
I mean, D1 is definitely, look, they got the best guys. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? And it's week in, week out, you're wrestling state champs, multiple state champs, guys that place in the States 4 years in a row. And it's a big, big grind, right? And I think in today's landscape, like, if you're going to go D1, the top schools like Penn State, Oklahoma State, Iowa, the competitive advantage they have over the other schools is monstrous, right? You're wrestling with Olympic wrestlers day in, day out, just as their facilities is unbelievable, right? So it's harder to catch those guys. Now, Division II is a little bit more like, I would say, from a high school, like, you could catch the guys ahead of you, right? Like, if you didn't place in states, even if you placed and maybe took 8th, like, you could be a Division II national champ, All-American, if you're trending in the right direction, doing everything right. I think D1, it's definitely challenging to go out and chase those top guys.
Well, rather than, I like your answer, and that's clarification on the difference between D1 programs and D2 programs.
Right.
I'm talking about a kid in general. What, in your opinion, what separates a D1 talent from a D2 talent? What is the separation? Is it just talent? Is it mindset? Is it, I don't know, is it a kid parties more than the other kid? I'm being
I think
serious.
it's case by case, right? There's no right and wrong answer here. I would say, the state champs are most likely going D1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the top 3 guys most likely are going D1. It gets trickier for the guys that maybe aren't on the podium, right? And maybe they're not getting recruited heavily, but they have a lot of talent. And we watch them, like, these guys could be great at the next level, right? So I think, A, it's who's recruiting you, too, right, for D1 versus D2. Like, if you're getting Penn State, Iowa, the big schools to recruit you, like, we're not going to target those. Like, we don't really stand a chance, to be honest.
Right.
But if they're going to a smaller Division I school where they may not start, like, that's our selling point. Like, hey, you come to Felician, like, you could be an All-American, you could be a national champ, you could start for 4 years. Like, you're going to go to a smaller school, and you know how it is too with this transfer portal. Like, you could go to a D1 school and then they bring in a hammer and you're on the bench, right?
Yeah.
So I think every kid you talk to is different, right? If they want to be great, they want to be an All-American, they want to be a national champ, right? At the Division II level, like, that's what we're really selling in.
Now, Dale, same question to you, but the difference between D2 and D3.
The difference between D2 and D3?
From a wrestling perspective,
Right.
from a wrestler, not program.
Yeah, I mean, as a wrestler, I mean, they're very close. Like, I mean, even from Division 1 to 2 to 3, the top guys are all good in all divisions.
Yes, I agree.
And people like Mike, no, even the top 3 at each division, they're hammers. They could probably wrestle in any of those divisions, right? I mean, you look at those top guys. The biggest difference, I would say, D2 and D3 for the wrestling. I mean, the difference is really, obviously, there's not much of a difference.
There's not much.
Yeah.
Could the difference be something as simple as a D2 coaches simply didn't give a D3 kid a look? Could it be that could the difference be that, in other words, a reason why this kid is D3 is because no D2 schools even looked at him?
No, I don't think that's the
Okay.
case. I would say the wrestling, like every weight's different too. Like some weights could be better at D2, some weights at D3. I think a lot of D2 and D3 is where you live too. Like we have a lot of Jersey local guys,
Yes.
right? And I think TC and J, they have a lot of local guys at the D3 down in South Jersey, right? We went to Delaware Valley. It was mostly PA. So I think that's more of a location thing.
Okay.
Like a lot of D2 kids, D3, if they want to stay home and there's a school right in their back pocket, most likely like that school has the upper hand versus a D3 school in Indiana. Like there's no shot a D3 school in Indiana is going to recruit one of our guys.
Makes sense.
Because if they want to stay home.
Right.
Do you think it's also more of a willingness issue on a kid, like a talented kid just doesn't believe he's D2 or D1, so he goes D3, or he doesn't believe he's D1 talent wise, so he goes to D2? Do you think it's just kids just doubting themselves?
Yeah, mentality is probably the biggest thing I see right now is lack of confidence, right? The anxiety part of, hey, can I compete at the highest level? And those top D1 guys, their mentality, you hear these kids talk, and it's definitely a mental thing. I think, honestly, the biggest thing we're preaching to our guys is the mental aspect, right? Like, don't put like, this is supposed to be fun. The journey's supposed to be fun. It's go out now and compete. We're not focusing on winning and losing, right? Getting better, competing, having fun. And then the wins will come, right? Obviously, everybody wants to win, but that can't be the main focus, right? It's too hard of a season, too long of a sport, and we do as much as we can to take the anxiety and the pressure off of these guys.
That's actually a good question. That's what I was curious about. What's the goal for a wrestler that comes to a D2 school? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's their accolades-wise? Or are they trying, is it the same kind of competition-wise that they can achieve in terms of, or is it more for the program, for the school, and for life that you go to make that choice?
Every kid's different.
Yeah.
I go to lunch with all our guys, like do one-on-ones with them, and some kids' goals is to be a national champ, some to be an All-American, some to make the national tournament, and some to be in the starting lineup, right? So I think wrestling's a very unique sport where there is a team aspect in it, and from a coaching standpoint, there's no doubt we shouldn't be a top 10 Division II program in the next couple of years. Like, we have the talent, we got the kids coming in, we just got to develop them and keep making them better. But it's case by case. Every kid's going to have different goals on the mat.
Who is the top Division II wrestling?
Yeah, Nebraska
Carney.
Yeah, they're tough. Yeah, they're really good.
They got some hammers, and they're getting. I mean, they're pulling. The thing is with them, they're pulling a lot of top guys that should be D1, and that's we're trying to pull it because, like Vinny's saying, that big change is the mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
A D1 guy does not think he should go D2 or D3, right?
Right.
I mean, that's the. I mean, to me,
Alpha.
that's the biggest difference. But once they know, hey, well, if I'm an All-American, why wouldn't I be the biggest name, right, in Division II? Why don't I be, right, even at Felician, we always say, the AD told me, hey, you get a national champ, that national champ's going to get a statue on the front of Felician. No other school's going to do that, right? And even Nebraska or Penn State, right, they already have national champs. They have state champs. You can come and be a Division II hammer and put your name out and be the face of D2 sports, not just wrestling.
Yeah, start your own legacy.
Start your legacy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, even for us, like, that's our big thing, right? Starting it from scratch, right? Be the first. We haven't had an All-American. All these other programs have All-Americans and national champs.
Oh, that's good.
So, I mean, that's really...
Be the first. In any sport, Felicia's never had a national champ.
That's what... They only started sports in 98. So they're fairly new. Most schools have been over 100 years in sports
crazy.
or whatever.
That's crazy.
So 98, so they're new. Like, even, my administration, me and the AD work with them, hand in hand. But they don't understand, obviously the athletics because it's so new. It started in 98, just breaking off into sports. We have 21 sports now, and they just literally started in 1998.
Wow.
So
let's get into recruiting. Now, let's do it this way so we stay on track. I'm going to play the role of a high school wrestler, okay? And I'm hoping to get recruited by any school. So when you guys, how does the recruiting process, so I'm assuming you've already recruited, you started on 2027's done? Are you done recruiting class of 2027s? High school class of 2027s?
2025, the one that just graduated, you mean?
Well, yeah. I'm thinking, 2025s. So, when do you start zeroing in knowing, all right, we have some current high schoolers who are 2026 or 2027 or even 2028? Take us through that. How do you guys come up with a plan on recruiting?
We're closing out 25. I think we have a couple more kids we're still trying to lock up, but obviously the school year starting in 2 or 3 weeks. So we're probably on the fringe with 2 or 3 more recruits, and then obviously we'll switch focus to 2026, 2027 shortly. We already started a little bit, but not as much.
But what makes you start saying, hey, what about this kid from wherever?
Yeah, what puts a kid on your radar?
Yeah, what starts that process of going after a specific kid?
So I'd say Jersey's first. Like, obviously, this is the hotbed, right? We want Jersey guys first. So I'll look at, like, the state tournament, how kids are doing based on their age group, right? So if they're a junior making the state tournament and you watch their videos, right, then you try to set up a call with them or DM them. And then you have a conversation. And based off the conversation, you see, like, hey, this is a guy I want to continue to pursue, or maybe it's not, right? Because you got to see where the kid's head at, right? So if I'm recruiting you and you're telling me I'm going D1, like, and I could try to sell them in on D2, which I'll do. Like, hey, you have coaches that love the sport. We're a new program. We're trying to build a powerhouse. You come here and make us a top 5, top 10 program, adding you to the team, right? But you really want the fringe kids, right? Like, hey, I'm not sure. I'm open to anything, right? The more open they are, that it just helps us with the recruiting process.
Well, there's 14 weights in New Jersey, 8 placers. So quick math, what's that, 128 state placers? We'll just use the state placers. We're not even talking about the blood rounders, and a lot of talented kids don't place. Let's face it, okay?
100%.
So out of those, what's the math? What's 14 times
112.
Okay, whatever. 112 kids. Yeah. So 112 kids. You're not going to call or try to contact all 112. You made that clear. There's some clear-cut Division I big-time recruits. So how do you narrow down that list on who you want to call? Like, what's the eye test for you guys?
Well, it's our team first, right? So where's our biggest holes? Like, what do we need as a team? And those weights are going to be the weights that you're zoning in on, right? So I'm just using an example, but if we don't have any 125 pounders, we're going to be trying to call as many 113, 120, 126 pounders.
Of course.
But if we have a bunch of 97 and heavyweights and they're young and they're really good and those are our guys, we may not put as much time in recruiting those weight classes. Right. So honestly, it varies, right? And kids get put on your radar. Instagram's a huge tool. Like, you see kids building a following and then you start watching their matches. And you could tell from just like being a wrestler, like, this kid has so much potential. Maybe he's so athletic, so fast. Maybe they're just technically not there yet.
He doesn't have the coaching in his high school room.
Correct.
Which is possible.
Yeah, like, honestly, we love recruiting from smaller public schools because
they're raw.
They're raw, right?
Yes.
So like, if you get a kid from Bosco, Joe's, Bergen, like, those kids are still really good, but they're going to make jumps, but maybe smaller jumps versus you get a kid from, even Elmwood Park, like where I wound up going. There's not many. They're not getting a lot of great workout partners in their room, right? They're limited resources. So it really just depends, honestly. We're recruiting. It's fun, though. I mean, it's a lot of fun what we do. And honestly, a lot of kids reach out to us, too, which is crazy, because there is a website that Dale uses for that. What is that, the website called?
NCSA.
Yeah, where, like.
So how many scholarships do you have available per year?
So right now, I mean, the way that they're working is they give me basically a budget yearly until I get to the top.
Okay.
So I think it's 9.2 total that you can have.
And you could divide them up to thirds,
you could divide
halves,
them.
quarters.
It doesn't matter how you break them up.
Okay. What would someone do you guys believe in, or have you done so? Have you offered one kid a full scholarship?
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah, there has been kids that,
okay, I understand. Okay. So typically, do you try to get do you have a roster cap at D2?
No.
There's no roster cap. So you could have 65 kids in that room all the time. Okay. Now, obviously, you can't divide up 9.2 scholarships among 65 kids. So, but what is your ultimate goal? Do you try to offer as many halves as you can? Or do you say, we're going to go all in on a few kids and we're going to try to divvy up the rest, and hopefully we get some kids to buy in?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be based on the recruit.
I got you.
That is going to be definitely, I try to get, something I call, obviously, blue chip recruit, right? You're trying to get two, at least, I try to lock up 2 blue chip, like 2 hammers every year. And then I try to get, obviously, really good guys around them. And even on our recruiting, the one major thing that we look for, all my coaches look for, is a willingness to do the sport and the hungry, right? So sometimes people are like, oh, the state champs. State champs sometimes aren't the hungriest guys, right? They've won it. They've won 2, 3 titles.
Some of them are the laziest kids.
Yeah, some of them are the laziest kids,
are.
right? And and I hate to say this, they go to college, right? And they don't know how to take a loss. Yeah. And then their career just goes down that path. But sometimes that blood round kid, like, people don't realize this, are the hungriest kid in that bracket. Right? They have more to prove. So a lot of times those are the kids that we're going at.
So you mentioned hammer and scholarship. So what's a hammer in Dale Fava's mind?
I would say if you're placing 2 or 3 times in New Jersey States,
you're a hammer.
You're a hammer.
Is that your definition as well? Okay.
I said 2. Yeah, you place 2 or 3 times in New Jersey States, I would consider you a hammer.
Now, so all right, I'm a wrestler. I'm not getting any interest. So I might start emailing college coaches around the East Coast. A lot of kids do that. Do you guys get emails in a large? Do you get a large amount of emails regarding wrestlers being interested in attending your school?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, right? And we do accept the walk-ons, right? Obviously, at some point with the wrestling room, like there's going to be a number where we're like, all right, we can't have any more guys right now, right? But no, we had a couple. He had Dale a couple walk-ons last year, right? And it's based on the kid, right? Like Dale was saying earlier, how hungry are they? Like, how's the conversations with them going? Why do they want to wrestle? Like, that's the biggest thing. Because college, let's be honest, like these kids are out on their own for the first time, right? Kids get partying, they hang out with the wrong kids. Wrestling's hard. High school is hard. College is way harder, right? You're doing it by yourself. It's a longer season. It's a bigger grind. You don't get the 2-pound bump allowance mid-season, right? It gets lonely at times, right? And you really gotta want it. And I think the conversations we have with all the recruits is like, why? Like, we have to understand why they want to do it.
What's your
right?
why? Yeah,
if it's your parents, like, that's gonna sooner or later, it's gonna die out, and they're gonna leave the sport, right? They have to have some kind of love for the sport. They gotta have big goals. They want to be part of a team. Like all our guys want to be part of the team, and we really have a really good culture that we're building.
Well, are you committed to returning every email that you receive from a wrestler that's interested in your program? Do you make sure you start some kind of chain of contact with any kid that reaches out to you?
I think we do.
Yeah, we definitely try to. And this is going to sound crazy. We try to, and we have, I'd say, probably about 5 to 10 kids at least every day that are emailing us.
Okay.
That are interested in Felician. And not just from New Jersey, from Ohio, California. We have a kid from California coming this year, 5 kids from Florida. So, like, Jersey wrestling is obviously in the presence of very big things. Kids know, like, if you want to become the best, come to Jersey, right? Like,
of course.
It's a top 3 state in the nation for wrestling.
Yes.
So kids that want to wrestle, they find us. And I'm sometimes surprised. I'm like, how did they find little Felician?
Right.
When even when we're at nationals, none of the schools know what Felician is, even at the Division II level. Like, what school is this? And being put on the map. But we try to answer every single one, whether they're a good fit for our program or not. Because that's just really, how we do business too. It's just the right thing to do, right? Even if they're interested, to make contact with them and to see if they're a good fit for the program.
Piggyback, you go.
Well, I was just curious. Do the kids that are reaching out to you, do you say, are they more, I'm sure everybody's different, but do they tend to be more like D3 kids seeing if there's a higher thing out there, or D1 kids looking for more of a safe place? Where do they, because I know it's so close where you can wrestle all 3. So how does that usually work out?
I think it depends on the kid, right?
Yeah.
Like I think if they're not getting recruited, to your point, they may send emails out to coaches to start the conversation. And what I love about it is when we are getting emails or DMs on Instagram, they send videos that, like, that's showing initiative, right? And it's like, this kid wants to wrestle. If they keep following up, they're sending you videos and clips, like, I'm working hard and I'm doing the right things. Even from our sake, then we check them out, like, maybe they could grow. The big thing also, D2, I don't think we covered this yet, but D2, you could redshirt too. So D2 and D1 similar, where you could redshirt. D3, you can't redshirt, right? So if a guy's maybe not there yet, bring him in, we redshirt him. Now he's wrestling with All-American coaches, kids on our team that have All-American national champ aspirations that are getting good. And the kids are going to get so much better, so much faster. So we try to email everybody back, but obviously, like Coach Dale said, it could be a challenge at times, depending where they're reaching out to us on.
What as coaches, do you factor in someone's freestyle success in terms of recruiting? So in other words, if you have a kid that's I even hate to say this word, but an average high school wrestler, maybe a state qualifier, but he's exceptional in freestyle, does that determine how you're going to recruit a kid? Like, how much value in a kid's freestyle success do you guys put towards the recruiting, if any?
That's a good question. I don't know if there's a lot of kids that are that much better freestyle than they are scholastic, to be honest. But if they're really good freestyle, that means they're really good on their feet, right? So maybe we just have to work with them on the mat. So, we take a look at as many kids as we possibly can, right? And I think as coaches, it's our job to see where their ceiling is, right? And what can we do to make those kids better, right? What bad habits are they doing? They're like, well, if they only did this or they did this differently, they'd be a better wrestler. So I think it's always a case-by-case basis with that.
Do you, Dale, do you physically do you make an attempt to physically go watch a recruit wrestle, either at a state tournament or a Beast of the East or a big high school duel? Do you make a point of physically being there?
Yeah, I try to get to their matches. Obviously, it's hard because we're in season.
Right.
Especially last year, with 2 coaches, like trying to run my first program, and it's hard to go out and go watch other kids. But
it's part of it.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
So no, I try to make it to at least one of their matches, especially if I know they're coming right away. I'm trying to get to their matches. I went to the BC East, Escape the Rock last year, so I try to hit at literally every big tournament. I try to make myself seen. I want to make sure I'm around. The more you're around, people know that your program exists, right? And then obviously online, I mean, you have everything at your fingertips.
Yep.
Recruiting couldn't have been easier than it's ever been now.
Are there more pros or more cons in technology today for recruiting?
For recruiting, I would say more pros.
More pros.
Way
Okay.
more pros. There's probably, I don't even know how they recruited back in the day without cell phones.
Well, but what I mean is, do you think the cons of it can make you guys more complacent or lazy as coaches because you can click on YouTube and watch? Whereas, getting back to what we just talked about, you don't necessarily have to drive an hour and a half through the snow uphill to sit in a crowded hot gym to watch a kid, which the older coaches had to do.
Well, no, we still do that because, listen, coaches don't do that, right? We want to make ourselves different.
Yes.
So
I agree with
as much, the technology helps us to put the kid on notice, but we're going out to those matches because we know being seen there is going to mean something to a recruit too, right? If I'm coming to watch you live, that means I'm obviously interested in you, right? If I just sit on my phone and watch you, then you're really not going to get the full experience.
What are you going there to actually? What is your goal of going there? Obviously, the kid's likely going to win by tech fall that night, unless you're going to watch a marquee matchup. So if you go there kind of knowing what the outcome is going to be, what are you looking for?
I mean, what I'm looking for is I'm looking more for how he actually interacts with his team.
Well, how about if how about he's up 13-0 and gets decked?
I mean, listen,
Are you looking for a reaction?
I'm looking for a reaction, how he acts, because on and off the mat is very important. And that's one thing that we cut out right away, right? I don't like sore losers. I tell my kids, you win and you lose the same way, right? Yeah. You win, should be the same way. You've been there, right? You shouldn't be going crazy. You shouldn't be celebrating, right? Obviously, if it's national finals, it's a little different. Yeah. But you should win and lose the same way, right? I mean, that's how I was always brought up. And I really look at the engagement, even with the parents. That's very, very crucial in the recruiting. People don't understand, right? If a wrestler's coming off a mat, loses, and it's like, Mom, go get my water. No, you go get your water. You're a wrestler, and you're bossing your mom around.
Yeah, really.
That draws you off. And it happens more often than not now. That's what happens. So really, it's not as much as the on and off and the tech and the getting pinned in 13. It's more of the interaction with his team and his coaches to see if you're going to be a good fit for our program, because if you recruit anybody that has that bad, they could ruin your whole team.
Right.
Of course.
Like our culture on our team, like my brother's saying, is unbelievable. We have kids in the room that are, blood round kids in the room that are, top 3 that were top 3 in the state that placed. But they all treat each other with the same respect. And that's the culture that we breed, because that's how you get to the next level.
I got an interesting question, because as a D1 school, obviously you can go in and you're going to get you're trying to get the winners and all that kind of stuff. But you guys have a little bit of a different perspective, kind of finding the diamonds in the rough, it sounds like. So what excites you about a guy when you watch them that's like, oh, we want this guy for Feliciano? Like what gets you going for those? What are the type of guys you look for?
I'm not going to competition, guys that love to compete on a day-to-day basis. I mean, it gets us, you can see us more in the room, and they love to compete. Guys that just want to go. They want to wrestle with everybody. They're asking us, hey, coach, can I go? We had kids that were open mats for our club yesterday that are like, can I wrestle with that kid? Those are the kids we want. We want you to go wrestle with everybody in the room. We don't want you to be scared of competition, right? We don't want you to have that pressure. But kids that are just hungry and love to compete, because that's how we were brought up. We love to compete, whether it's playing men's softball, whether it's wrestling, whether it's video games. That's the culture that we bring, right? In the world, in order to win in the world, that's what they need to do, right? They need to compete in business. They need to grow. So they can't be scared of competition. That's what we really look to, and that's what excites us.
Are you guys bound by different recruiting rules than D1 programs? Or recruiting's just a...
Yeah, no, we're bound. No, I mean, we're bound. We have still the same certain dates. The biggest difference from D1 to D2 is the portal. There's no portal time in D2. You can sign anybody all year.
Okay.
So they have to be in the portal, but I could sign them. Division I think their portal ends in a week, and then they can't recruit anybody else.
Oh, understand. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I could get a transfer mid-year, but in the portal Division I, it's a lot a lot more strict than it would be Division II.
Interesting.
What would make you, Vinny, I'll ask you this. What would make you not recruit a kid? Something specific.
Something specific. I think limited questions asked by the kid, right? The lack of curiosity, or like you're on the phone with them and they're not engaging, right? They don't seem interested, right? Like you want that passion right off the bat. Attitude's big too. Like, thank you, coach, for even like the small things go a long way. Hey, coach, how's your day going? Thank you at the end. Because we want good people first, right? The wrestling we'll take care of, but I think it's definitely an attitude thing, right? We want to make sure we get the right kids. We want to make sure how the conversation's going. Like, are they being almost forced to wrestle? Like, do they love the sport? Yeah. And we'll ask them challenging questions to the recruits, right? Like, hey, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to compete? Why do you want to wrestle? I think the biggest thing is attitude, I would say.
Well, how do you do, and I don't know if you'll ever come up with this situation or scenario, but what if a recruit says, Coach, to be honest with you, I hate school, but I love to wrestle, and I'll win you a D2 championship, but I don't want to go to class. What kind of a talk now do you have with that recruit?
That's they can't answer it like that, right? School comes first.
Of course.
If you're ineligible, you're not going to be able to win a national title anyway, right? So they have to look. There's some kids on our team with 4.0 and they love school and they know it's extremely important. Some kids maybe they have a 2.5, still do well, but maybe not do as well as some other kids. But we tell our guys, like, school comes first, because you could love the sport all you want. If you're not going to class and you're failing, guess what? You're not going to be able to compete. So you tell them and you try to explain to them why it's important, right? Because wrestling's going to end one day. Like, there's no professional wrestling. I know they're starting that professional wrestling league, but there's really no pipeline to professional unless you go to like the Olympic stage, which is very limited kids, right? So we tell them, like, hey, school's extremely important. Like, you have to figure out what you want to do in life. And like, hey, if you don't want to go to school and you want to start working at 18, I mean, that's on them, right?
I don't know. I'm sure they're out there. I don't know a single high school wrestler that loves school.
They don't need to love it, but they have to be willing to do it. Like, they don't need, but they have to. And guess what? In the real world, and when they work, they may not love their job, but they have to put food on the table, right? So we have to sell and tell them why it's important, right?
I guess what my question kind of
that's not true though. We had one on here, Nevin.
I don't think.
That guy loves school.
And he comes to our open mat.
I don't know if he loves school.
He loved it, bro.
What teenager loves school?
Yeah.
I guess my point. I guess I should have asked you this in this way. If you have a tremendous talent in your room that's already on your team, and he's just obviously slacking in the classroom,
right?
How do you bring him back? How do you zero him back? But he is a talent that you've never had before. How do you?
That's the mental part. That's the mental part, right? Those are the conversations between athlete and coaches is the biggest thing, right? Because we've been through it already, right? And it's gonna get hard. School, wrestling. You have to talk to these kids and get them mentally prepared, and you got to make them see things that maybe they don't see right now, right? And like, to your point, if I have a tremendous, and this guy could win a national title, like, hey, everything's at your fingertips, right? You have to go to class. You have to, like, why don't you want to do it? Because you don't like it? Like, there's a lot of things in life you're not going to like, right? That's just part of becoming a man and an adult, but you have to do it. So I think it's tough conversations. It's got to be one-on-ones, right? It can't be in front of a group or anything like that, but you really want to understand how they're thinking, right? Because you can't just say you can't, from my perspective, is it's a partnership, right? I can't say, well, you have to go to class. You can't yell at them. Like, you have to understand, well, hey, why do they hate school, right? And then you peel back the levels one step by one and make them understand the importance of going to class and getting good grades. So then, hey, how bad do you want to be a national champ? Like, if you wanted to be a national champ, I'll tell you how bad you want to do it. Yeah. If it's the biggest thing I want to do in my life, well, school's part of that national title.
Yeah, for
I hate to say it, or else that's taken away from you.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. I did not go to college, and I did not wrestle in college. You two, obviously. I cannot imagine being a full-time wrestler, because it is a job in college, and holding a GPA of 3.54. It's incredible.
It is.
I don't know how kids can do that.
Yeah,
I don't know how they can do it. I don't know how they do it.
I mean, every kid's different. I mean, I think if you're going to class, you're doing the right things, you're communicating with your teachers, like, there's no way you shouldn't get above a 2.5, right? There's no doubt. Just going to class, paying attention, talking to the teacher, and just being a good person, that's going to help you a long way. also the biggest thing in being Coach Dale is like communication with young athletes. I think that's probably the biggest gap you see now is the lack of communication. I think, like we talked about, technology's killed that, right? They could text. They don't need to have these hard face-to-face conversations.
Yes.
But we tell our guys, like, communication is key with us. Like, if you have a problem with anything, somebody on the team, coaching, something, school, come talk to us. Because a lot of the times we don't, like, Coach Dale won't find out if some kid's slipping up until it's too late.
Yeah.
Right? So I think communication is huge for young athletes, and we're very easy to talk to. I'm like, guys, I get it. Like, we've been through it, right? Like, nothing you're going to say is going to scare us or yell at you. Like, we'll work through it together, but I think communication's got to be number one almost.
So let's get into 2026. Your schedule, is it finalized, I'm assuming?
No, not finalized.
It's
I'm
not
still
finalized.
I'm finalizing now. Actually, I usually wait on it. So I got all my opens scheduled, and I got a couple matches. We got like NYU in November. We got a couple dual meets. But we usually we do all the opens the first half, and then usually the second half we'll do all the dual meets.
Does the school limit you to what you can schedule? You have limits?
They don't. So they give me a budget, right? I got to make the budget work. I could schedule 30 matches with that budget. I could schedule 10 matches with that budget.
Understand. Okay.
It's going to be based on all the location, things like that. With hotels,
all that.
With this year, right? Last year I had a little bit more leeway, right? I had 14 guys, and I had almost like the same budget I have this year. Now I got 32 guys with that budget, right? So I got to make obviously more fundraising efforts to make sure that they could travel where we want to travel. But we do a lot of local competition. We like to go against, the D2s, the D3s in the area, and then, prepare for regionals and really go against those teams. So we have, seeding criteria over them. But we also, recovery. People don't realize this. Recovery is huge in college wrestling. They need time off.
So your program doubled in the year?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
doubled.
awesome.
Yeah, it's...
And we have a couple more kids we're trying to sign, so maybe we end up with 35.
We have some big hammers. I can't say. We got some big hammers that we're trying to make some, big moves. But, we try and always get, guys.
So the athletic director does not set up duels, and that's your responsibility?
Oh, that's my responsibility.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Like, it's a one-stop shop with me. Like, I'm not only, right, like last year, I'm the head coach. I have one assistant. Now I brought on, 6 other assistants. Because it's hard. Like, I'm doing the scheduling, I'm doing the admissions, I'm putting them through the applications, right, sending that stuff out, and following through the whole process through every single recruit. And
while having a full-time job.
I'm not a full-time wrestling coach. I'm actually a rec director. So I run all other little kids programs during the day, and just making it work, right? Making it work for my team and my kids, and making sure that, they're on point and they're ready to go. That's our big goal.
Well, at the high school level, I think coaches schedule based on PowerPoints. How many PowerPoints going to... So in college, do you have to... Do you find it problematic, maybe challenging your team to wrestle a better program that may or may not want to wrestle you? There's no... is there PowerPoints?
No, there's no
like
national duel. Or there I think they might be bringing it back, but like from our standpoint, it's more regionals and nationals at the end of the year.
Okay.
Right? So super regions, you take top 3, you go to the Division II national championships. Obviously, there's a team scoring as well.
Right.
But the good thing is it gives us so much flexibility.
Yeah.
Right. Like this year, I think we're starting at the ESU Open November 2nd, then the Millersville Open, and then a Centenary Open. So we have a couple opens right away. We could wrestle teams like Centenary, NYU.
These are individual based.
Yes,
right.
individual based.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. Like high school, I remember like PowerPoints. Like we need to beat this team to get the top seed, right? There's a little bit more scheduling that goes into it, but for us, it's more or less making sure guys are peaking at the right time at the end of the year.
Yeah, I understand. Now, do you guys, as far as travel expenses, like you said, you've been trying to raise money for that. Well, where are the Division II championships this coming year? Do you know? Has that site been determined?
Yeah.
Where is that?
South Dakota.
Yeah, South Dakota.
Yeah.
So that's airplane ride.
So that's different though. NCAA pays for that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So NCAA covers nationals.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't come just only the regular season, like the regionals and
I did not know that.
Postseason. I won't have to worry about that. Felician's been good. Our trainer travels with us too, so that's great. So my guys get basically everything that they need when they're on the trip too, in their hotels. So they work with us real good. But the NCAA pays for nationals if you make it.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Now they have the best football teams in Division II, North Dakota State and South Dakota State, right?
yeah.
So is it the same way
I think
in
that's
wrestling?
D1AA though.
Is it D1AA?
I think it's D1AA.
It used to be the
sure.
FBA. It was
FCS. It's always changing.
Yeah, the terminology is different. So that's interesting. So you guys typically, so on let's say it's a bus ride. You guys, just charter buses? Or you get vans, cars?
They can hear my other job too.
Oh, man.
No, I'm driving the team.
You got like a van?
Last year I was driving the team in the vans. Yeah, we got Felician vans. So not only do I got to go coach, I drive 3-4 hours.
That is awesome.
I coach and then I come back 3-4 hours.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you though. I'll tell you that is the way to build a program. Though you do every job that everyone else has to do, and then you know who to hire.
They love them.
No other
They
way.
do love them. I mean,
That's crazy.
It's hard.
Wow.
It's great, which is good. And we have Match Chat, big sponsor this year, right? You guys are.
You know that. We're already sponsored.
Absolutely. We're trying to give you the biggest platform we can
We'll
get.
throw it on the van, Match
So,
Chat.
let me envision a van. Does it have like a logo on it?
Yeah,
It does?
Yeah, it says Felician logo.
That's
Actually,
cool.
last year, tell you a funny story. The first tournament, we're going to East Stroudsburg, right? So I get in the parking lot. So it's the first time I'm taking their van. So I go in the parking lot. It's probably like 5 a.m. And I can't find the van that they gave me. So I'm like, so I had security give me a key to one of the other vans. It was a van that they don't use. Was not wrapped. It was like a 1960 white van, all marked up. So I'm like, guys, sorry, it's 5:30. We're taking this. I take it down there. We get in. We're weighing in. My parents are like, you guys came in that van? I'm like, yeah, I grabbed the wrong van this morning, but I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it was like the equipment van for sports. It wasn't like the travel van.
man.
Fantastic.
And the AD's like, you really took that van? I go, yeah, unfortunately, I had to get there.
That's
Wanted
it.
to make
Gotta
sure
get
I
there.
got,
Find a way.
I go, listen, it ain't like baseball. You sit there, right? No, these kids got to weigh in or
Right,
they're not
right.
wrestling. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's funny.
5:30 in the morning, but you got to do what you got to do, especially start a wrestling program, right? You got to do all the jobs,
Yeah.
right? Because then you don't got to worry about the budget cuts if you're doing everything, right? So
Who's the, from the nutrition angle for your athletes, who handles that?
So it's really us. We educate them on all the nutrition.
Okay.
I mean, we work with them hand in hand in that. The only thing really that we don't would work with them on is just, I mean, we still do, or even the injuries. I mean, we have our trainer, Gabe. He's unbelievable. He's in a room every day, even during practice. So they get really good treatment in there. That's one thing that I'm relieved for that we don't have to do, right? Even though sometimes we do know the injuries, right? We know if they're hurt or if they're not. A lot of kids fight me on that even last year. I would sit kids when they're hurt, right? And a lot of them want to keep wrestling, but you can't win a national championship in November, right? You can't. So we know when to rest them and to recover them, but it's just it's a nonstop changing my jobs to make it work, right?
Right.
I'm sure.
From driving a van. And this year we got 32 kids, so we got 3 vans. So I just have 3 coaches driving to these things. A lot of charter buses too for longer trips and stuff like that. But those cut into your expenses, right?
I'm sure. They're expensive.
10-hour trip. People don't realize this. The drivers have to change at 5 hours.
So
they
they're
gotta-
they're logs?
Yeah, they're logs. So like that 10-hour trip cost me $10,000. That's a large part of my. So it's better off me driving most of the time because it saves us money in our budget.
Yeah.
But whatever we got to do to get more competition, and we make those adjustments. And I have a great team of coaches, right? Like I got my brother BJ Young, Eric Torres, Nick De La Fera, a bunch of guys that are there because they love the sport. They're not doing it for money. They're doing it for the love of the sport, and they want to be there and want to be involved. And without my team and even the school administration backing us, this would be nearly impossible to do. But now. We're just trying to grow a powerhouse.
Yeah, man.
Did the school give you for example, like a 5-year plan? Like, okay, we're going to fund this for an X amount of years, or is it just indefinite?
No, it's just indefinite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just year to year. So
Okay.
I know my budget. My budget went up, a couple thousand this year because I
That's
got
a good thing.
32 kids on the team. But no, year to year, and they're pumping more money into the program, right? Whenever a school's pumping money into a wrestling program,
That's good
right?
news.
It's good news, and people don't realize this. Like whether you want wrestling is an expense, right? It's still an expense, right? You're
Right.
not packing
It's a
the
loss.
stands. It's
It's a loss.
Yeah, it's a loss.
100% loss.
So for a school to back us, right? I mean, there's schools that are multi-million-dollar wrestling programs that are getting shut down.
Yes.
For a little school like Felician with 2,500 students to back us,
That's awesome.
We're gonna back them and try to do everything that we could do as coaches to make sure that wrestling's successful, right? The sport's growing. Even on the women's side, people don't realize how much the women's side impacts the guys' side. More people are watching wrestling.
Wait, is it a Title IX thing too?
It's a Title IX thing too, yeah. But
brings more eyes to the sport.
brings more
too,
eyes to the sports. I'm a firm believer it does.
Yeah.
Right. When you're at the dinner table with your family, right, and you have daughters with your wrestlers. Now they know the sport.
I don't. Here's what my thought process on that. I think I don't think a little boy, for example, at 5 years old is going to wrestle because he's seeing girls wrestling.
Yeah.
But I think if the girls should, they have to grow within. I mean, the boys grew from the first state tournament was 1934. Look at it now. I think over time the girls won't need the boys' platform. They won't need it anymore. I think we're almost doing them an injustice by keep including them with the boys, because I think that's not doing it. It's not offering them any true measure of growth.
But
you know what I mean?
Just to tell you what you're talking about, though, look at the explosion since they separated in high school. It's been explosive.
Well, that's what I mean. Like let them fly all out of the nest. They need that because that's a true sign of growth.
Right.
You'll never know how anything is growing unless it's on its own.
Right.
And that'll really show.
Yeah,
you know what 100%. I mean? And yeah, the girls wrestling in this state is obviously it multiplies every year. The boys, you can't really multiply what the boys are doing. You know? But yeah, if that benefits any program for whatever reason, that's a good thing. It's nothing bad about that.
No.
Nothing at all. It's great. Now, what do you do in terms of practices aren't co-op, right?
No.
They're not. Okay. Is there a rule or law making it that way, or you just choose not to with the boys and girls?
No, there's no rule or law to make it that way. Actually, a lot of these programs, I hate to say it, and I don't agree with this, but they're adding programs, right? A men's and women's program, but then they have one head coach.
Yeah.
It's tough.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Like you have to have your own coaches running each individual program because a lot goes into college coaching.
Yeah.
A lot. Like you guys just heard mine. How are you going to run two programs now? You're not.
How are you going to drive two vans?
How are you going to drive two vans? You can't drive two vans. It doesn't make sense.
Do you guys have do you have a personal 5-year plan as far as coaching goals, program goals? Do you?
Yeah, we've talked about it. He's
you want to share it?
I mean, plans.
Do you want to share?
We do have some big goals. We do want a team trophy. Okay. We had a really good first recruiting class. By the time they're out, so it's top 4 in the country. I think we have the foundation. We're still far ways away from that, but again, we had 2 kids last year make nationals as true freshmen, right? So by the time they're seniors, we're hoping.
Who were those 2 kids? Give them some love. Who were they?
That's right, Eddie Terreri, Brian Malamud.
Okay.
2 studs.
They'll love it. They'll love it.
Malamud's a Bergen Catholic?
Yeah.
Bergen Catholic.
The other kid I don't recognize.
Premise Catholic.
Okay, Premise Catholic. Okay. There you go. So continue. What are the long-term goals as a coach?
So yeah, I mean, obviously we do want that first national champ, right? But obviously that falls a lot on the athlete too, right? They got to have a great tournament. Everything's got to go right to win a national title. But from a team aspect, we want the team trophy. So that's top 4 teams at nationals get a team trophy: first, second, third, fourth, obviously. I think Pittsburgh is in 2028, so that'll be the closest nationals to us. But we want hands on that trophy, right? That'd be something really awesome and great. And obviously, short-term goals is this year's full lineup, which we're going to have easy, right? We want to be extremely competitive, but we still have an extremely young team, right? So it's really coming in every day and getting better, competing and getting better, right? From a team sake, I don't think we have any too big goals this year besides being competitive and continue to grow.
Okay.
I got a good question. How rewarding is it for an ex-wrestler, right? When you're done to go into coaching? Because obviously you're not doing it for financial reasons. So how rewarding is it? Because, I mean, you're out of the sport now and you're growing into a different kind of level. Talk about that, because I know people probably struggle with that. Is it something that I'm going to still be involved with and be passionate about? Because it sounds like you guys are really passionate about this, and that's why I want to hear. It sounds like a good transition, so talk about that.
I mean, I'll talk about my one experience when I was with Chris Potato at Bosco, and we had Kyle Beard full state champ, Jaconis state champ, Mandarino was a state finalist. It's both. Right, and they didn't need me to be their coach. It almost it helped me as a coach grow having them under me, because you see what good looks like from a coaching standpoint, and it's both rewarding, but it's also could be, it's sad too, it's upsetting too, right? And I think the hardest thing for coaches, all 10 guys aren't going to be national champs, right? So there's a lot of ups, but a lot of downs too, where from a competitor, everything relies more on yourself, right? So if I accomplish what I want to in my wrestling career, then great on me. But
I understand.
Let's say we have one guy win it and one guy doesn't do what he wants to do. It's you see both sides. It's rewarding. You feel great for the one kid, but then you're a little bit heartbroken for the other guy, right? So, but it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride.
It's a great perspective, though.
You guys, don't be shocked if we hit you back up in another month or so, or 2 months. Maybe we can pop up in your room.
Yeah, I'd love to go out there. Yeah.
Because I'm curious on the campus. I'm curious to see. I like to see things start from ground zero and just just blossom. It's awesome. New Jersey is New Jersey, man. I don't give a shit if you're D3, D2, D1.
No.
It's just...
That's our selling point. You're representing Jersey. Like, there's the Jersey emblem on our singlets, right? Like, these guys, I'm like, we're the only D2 school. So when we're going against PA, Iowa, like, you're representing Felician, your school, the coaches, your team. You're representing everything, right? So I think that's why we have a lot of buy-in from the Jersey guys that signed with us and that are coming. But let's make sure also to schedule something 4 years out when we got that team trophy on, right? You guys are the first ones, right, to bring us in.
Absolutely. Do you guys, I should have covered this before, but I'm curious. Excuse me. Do you guys do home visits? Will you go to a kid's home and meet the parents and
we meet more
pet their
visits,
dog
though.
and all that stuff? And
I don't think we've done that yet.
Yeah, we haven't done that actually. I mean,
visits, like we've taken the lunch or something like that.
are there rules regarding home visits? Unlimited if you want to, or
I'm not sure.
to be honest, it's something I would definitely have to look into.
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah,
I don't. To me, I mean, the kids have been good enough where they're coming to. Obviously, they need to see the school and stuff, so we're meeting with the parents there. But yeah, no, we haven't made any home visits. That might be another good strategy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It might be. Because now I'm looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, no, Rocky Bonomo, he came to my house when I was going to lock in.
I was going to ask you that. Do you find yourself recruiting the way you were recruited by your college coaches? Did you?
No.
Are you naturally, subconsciously doing it that way?
No, I think differently. I think we're young, like we're also younger.
Yeah.
I feel like than maybe the coaches that recruited us, but it's a new age. It's a new era, right? And I think to Dale's point, why we haven't done certain things is limited, right? And I think now that we have a full team of 32, because that's focus number one is recruiting, right? Like if you don't have a full lineup, that should be number one. Now we could hit areas where we didn't, but now our recruiting is definitely, I think, way different than a lot of coaches personally.
Yeah, we don't recruit yet. Like we get real personal with the kids. We want to help them and their families, and we try to set ourselves very differently from other college coaches where they might just be recruiting just for wrestling. Like we don't recruit just for wrestling. We recruit to make sure you're going to be a good person and good people, or really because listen, then everything's fun, right? Everything's easy. Then you want to compete. I want kids to want to come to practice, right? We had our club practice yesterday. We didn't expect it. We walk in, there's 42 kids there. They want to be there. You don't have to tell them, hey, be here. They want to be there. And I mean, a lot of it's we follow obviously wrestling, Penn State, and top programs in the nation, and we see things that they do, and we take a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and you make it into your own. But you want the kids to love the sport, right? It's easy when you love it to compete, right?
Yeah,
we have fun at we have fun at Felician too, right? Like it's not about the yelling at kids and all this stuff. Like we have it's more of a partnership, and
so it's not Animal House.
No, I mean,
okay.
That's a good thing, though.
Well, no, I'm telling you, there's a lot of D1 programs. You always have to rely on that coach. I hate to say it, they're out for themselves first. Like if they're making money to feed their family, like we're making money outside of wrestling. So like wrestling is just something we do because we love it, right? Like we have no tie to that. And we're not going anywhere. We're from Jersey. Our jobs are here, right? A lot of small programs, if a coach has a really good year or two, they're gone. They're going to a bigger program, right?
Well, you guys are building resumes. Don't act like you're not.
Yeah, but we're not. I mean, there's the thing about it. My full-time job's in Rutherford, and Felician's at I can't go anywhere else, right? Unless I change career path.
Well, okay,
and he's a rec director in Elmwood Park. So, like, we're here for the long haul,
right?
Like, I wouldn't change career. Like, I don't think any coaching job would, afford how much we make.
Are you guys married?
I'm engaged.
He's engaged.
Yeah, I get married next year.
No, I don't think I have time to be married.
That's what I was going to ask you.
No, I'm going to be honest.
There's no time.
Well, you're engaged. Your fiance must be one understanding woman.
She's the best. Yeah, she's the best. She's understanding. She supports me how I support our wrestlers, right? And it's like whatever I want to do, she's always got my back. Which,
that's awesome.
Which is what you need, right? Yeah. And the wedding's April 30th, and Nationals next year is March 12th or 13th. So it's like we're cutting it close, right? Yeah. But at least we'll have a month to like.
Have a honeymoon before the wedding, honeymoon after.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
she deserves it. Well, good for her.
She's actually touring. We'll give her a shout out too.
Yeah.
She's actually working the golf outing on Monday.
Yeah, she'll be there. She'll
be there Monday. Everybody's calling out of work to go and work the golf outing, right? We're losing money to come make more money to get our program, to the level that we need to get it to. So.
Well, I mean, fundraisers, youth tournaments are a cash cow.
Yeah.
Can you guys pull that off? Have a couple of them a year?
We're trying to do a big one, but it's tough with that. I think. Setting it up, like Dale said, we're stretched thin right now. So we're trying to do like a takedown club in college to kind of have the parents help out with some of the fundraising and whatnot. Obviously, last year we had a limited team and just starting the program, we didn't want to. But this year, that's one of our goals too, is to kind of start like a parent kind of takedown club that they could kind of help us with some of the fundraising, take some stuff off of our plate.
It's hard when you're fundraising and coaching. It's very hard, especially first year. Like you want to do good, right? You got your goals, and you're like, how can I fundraise when I got to worry about all these kids' goals first? You know?
Yeah.
So that's what you got to get done.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully you guys also, we love having you on, but also you're going to see quite a few talented kids on this podcast who will never know what level they wrestle at, where they go to college at, if they even continue to wrestle. But hopefully this is a resource for you guys too.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we do this. It's a resource it's informational, it's educational for anyone, involved in the sport, whether you're a coach, parent, wrestler, fan, podcasters, whatever.
Something.
Yeah. So
this is opening the door, and obviously thanks for having us on. I mean, this has been unbelievable. And lastly, I want to close with like the recruits that we talk to, like keep an open mind. Any athlete should talk to as many coaches, see what the best fit for you is, right? Don't look at one place and you're like, I'm all in on them, because it's a big decision. And nowadays we see so many people leaving and in the portal. Like try to find your forever home right away. And the only way you're going to do that is be open-minded, D1, D2, D3, right? Like see what the coaching staff, the kids on the team, what the campus looks like, see what aligns with your goals and everything, and then kind of go from there.
Let me ask you, we'll close it out with this too, if you don't mind, because this is becoming more and more of a, common thing where kids are just, it's a social pressure, I think. Social media runs,
right.
I think kids are so excited to commit just so they can post that they committed. So any advice on kids who might be committing too early or committing for the wrong reasons? Fall in love with the first girl you meet, so to speak.
Unfortunately, society's gone to instant gratification,
yes.
right? And I tell our kids, I'm like, don't do it for the post, because guess what? The next day, that post is gone. Like no one's looking at you. You're not getting a ton of likes the next day. It's really a 24-hour window of like, oh, everybody loves me, and then life goes on. So, I mean, committing early, I think that has more or less like, hey, if you fall in love with the program, the coaches, everything, and this is where you want to be, fine. Just don't do it for the Instagram post, right? Because wrestling's very delayed gratification. You got to work really hard to achieve your goals, and being a national champ, All-American, whatever it takes. So, unfortunately, man, that's just the way society is, though, with TikTok and these Instagram. Yeah. Everyone wants that love real quick, but...
Dale, do you agree?
No, I completely agree. I mean, they do. They want instant gratification, and even like to go back on the rewarding part, right?
Yeah.
As a coach, you don't see that. You don't see rewards for years until years later.
Yeah.
And you have people reach out. I had a girl wrestler reach out to me 3 days ago about going to college to wrestle. Mm-hmm. And that was rewarding to me because she was a softball player. I got her to wrestle. She loves the sport. Now she's gonna go wrestle in college.
Yeah.
Like that, and I didn't see that for 4 years. I mean, this is from 4 years ago, and that is So the same thing, like the instant gratification, you got to just stick along the process, right? Mm-hmm. Those commits, and you got to make sure that you're, making the right choice, and that you don't need instant gratification. You need to enjoy the process, enjoy the grind, right? Like Jordan Burroughs always says, and just keep going, right? Just keep getting after it.
I got a feeling those stories are going to become commonplace real soon for you guys. A lot of people are going to be appreciating what you guys do.
Who wins in a match out of you two?
Oh man, we're old now. We don't. Luckily now we don't have to wrestle each other. We wrestle with the other guys.
I used to do that with him.
You didn't answer my question.
What's funny, when I was at Del Val, he would come in when I was tired. It was called an Iron Man, 10-minute go live. So he'd come in at the 10th minute and start I'm I'm tired. You're taking me down. But
gotcha.
Nah, it's even. 50 will say it's tied.
All right, that's a good answer, guys. Listen, thanks for coming.
No, thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
100%. It's been another episode of New Jersey Match Hat. Attention, wrestling fans, parents, and future state champs. This is your podcast. We're shining a light on the toughest high school New Jersey wrestlers and coaches who are building warriors one takedown at a time. Follow us, like, and subscribe on your favorite platform. It doesn't cost you anything, but it goes a long way to support the show. Don't just watch the journey, be part of it.